Do you guys smell that? There's a certain freshness in the air. With Season of Discovery on the horizon, and finally, for the first time, some unknowns in the world of WoW Classic, something has me thinking. How are raids going to look? New abilities, new classes in new roles, a ton of new possibilities with the old content we've got, as well as new content like Karazhan Crypts, and who knows what else. So if Blizzard is serious about this thing, and all indications so far says that they are, I figured we should discuss some of the things that they're going to need to tweak to make these raids feel both fresh and difficult. Now this is just me sharing my thoughts. A lot of you will disagree. I'd love to hear about it in the comments, but as I know Blizzard occasionally pays attention to us content creators, here's what I'm thinking, and from conversations I've been having, things that I know you, dear watcher, are thinking as well. First, we need to address the elephant in the room, and that elephant is us. We absolutely truck bosses with full world buffs and optimized rotations and gear. So we're going to need to scale both boss HP and damage to make things a bit more challenging. We're also getting new abilities and defensives that are going to make the difference ever more stark. So something that counters that is in order to make sure we don't walk all over these iconic enemies. But this is also a balancing act. If you don't have world buffs, things still need to be killable. So there's got to be a nice middle ground that we have to walk down, which is not exactly easy. Also, let's work on making the trash between bosses more interesting. For anyone that remembers vanilla, 90% of trash mobs were just totally blendered. The only difficulty was making sure no one died so you didn't lose those world buffs. Let's think about tuning them up some, make them interact with each other, anything to incentivize new flavorful gameplay. Additionally, there's gotta be some ways to increase the fun factor for everyone in the raid, not just the warriors. Let's give mages time warp. For those of us that aren't retail players, they eventually give mages bloodlust so you weren't required to have a shaman. That would be good. Everybody loves bloodlust. They're also working on making all the healers more effective, but notably resto druids need a way to stack their hots with other resto druids. They've got a rejuve rune already, but let's make that baseline. It's just not a good mechanic and feels like an auto-include, not fun. But the most interesting thing I think Blizzard needs to do is add flavor to each of these bosses. All of the raids in vanilla were adjusted somewhat in Season of Mastery, but I want to see Blizzard tune things and add new interesting mechanics in line for each boss to match them with modern player sensibilities. What if on Lucifron, whoever got mind controlled grew big and started doing a bunch of damage? You would off-tank them and have to DPS them low enough to break the MC, and while doing that, Lucy and his adds were immune to damage. Or, for Magmadar, he spawns a bunch of other dogs and that you have to kill at the same time in order to fully defeat him, or they'd all res just like the trash packs before him. Or, think about this, on Ragnaros in Season of Mastery, they tuned him a bit so that he would submerge at a certain point, requiring you to do that mechanic. But what if the room began to fill with lava and people were forced to take the high ground and eventually be overcome with it, requiring the healers to heal through it, while you zerged that last precious few percent and finished him off? In addition to all of this, there are some things that each boss could get that would make them more fun for each of the different roles. Range DPS need more things to do. Melee often have to dodge things in vanilla, but range just stand there and turret. What if on Golemag he picked up big boulders and threw them towards the ranged, or on Chromagus elemental dragons flew around and dropped bombs near the ranged DPS? Another thing to think about, what about the vanilla events like the AQ gate opening or the Scourge invasion? If we gave each raid tier a world event that matches with the AQ event, we could really make vanilla an event-like server that you had to experience and participate in week to week. All of these things are very doable for Season of Discovery and could be even more interesting with secret hard modes, raid quests that unlock epic or legendary loot, tons of stuff that you'd be going in not knowing and be excited to discover once you are faced with it. All this to say is there's a lot of exciting opportunities and I can't wait to see what Blizzard has cooked up. If you enjoyed this little thought experiment / plea to Blizzard, do me a huge favor and like and subscribe. I'll have a ton of Season of Discovery content coming in the near future about raids, hidden discoveries, and more to help you tackle what's to come. Okay, well, that's it for me. See you guys in the next one.